I promise, and I never promise things, I promise you won't be disappointed with today's episode. This guy has collaborated with Oprah Winfrey. He's been on Dr. Phil's show. If you know the artist 2 Chainz, Travis Porter, or even Soulja Boy, please know he played a part of their success, if not a huge part of their success. He's keynoting a massive conference today, which is how we get to meet, and his mission in life right now is all about the dream machine. Check this out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and an amazing guest. This guy is from Atlanta, Georgia originally, but now calls LA his home. He has survived brain cancer. He has finished an Ironman. He has put more artists on the map than anyone else I've ever met. He is my new friend, the one, the only, Charlie. Welcome to Loan Officer Podcast.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, I'm so excited that you and I had an opportunity to meet. Shout out to our mutual friend, Renee Rodriguez, who definitely made it happen. But more importantly, shout out to MortgageCon 2026, which you're keynoting. You're closing out the event today.
That's right.
Yeah, well, walk us through a little bit. I don't even know where we want to start, you and I, on this. I mean, I may want to go all the way back to you being in high school and the little hustler you were.
Okay.
To how did you end up hooking up with Soulja Boy, doing videos with him? How did you help find or found 2 Chainz? What type of work did you do with Travis Porter? What the hell, brain cancer? Oh, by the way, we forgot to talk about your collaboration with Nike, right? And then more importantly, I do want to put a massive spotlight on everything that you're doing now to give back to the community you serve, to change lives for other people. Yeah. And then obviously along the way, the lessons learned, because the little bit of time we spent together, I've learned already, you're a guy who never has a bad day.
No.
It doesn't matter what life throws at you, you don't have a bad day.
Can't. I'm on a winning streak.
You're on a winning streak.
Man, if I woke up on that day, I guarantee you, if something bad happens to me, I'm going to find the win in it. And I can say in my life, I've never had anything bad happen to me.
Yeah, what happens when you stack 2 L's together?
2 L's. It makes a W. I can't lose.
You can't lose.
It's just a lesson learned.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Okay, so I'm looking at you. You don't look older than 28. I think you are older than 28.
That's what I'm talking about. You're trying to get on my good side because I'm an old man.
No, I'll get on your good side by donating to Dream Machine.
Come on, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and by the way, real quick, if you love today's episode, let's go ahead and get this out of the way right now. How can people donate to Dream Machine?
DreamMachineUSA.org.
DreamMachineUSA.org. If you love TLOP, if you love what we do for free for the mortgage community, and you too want to give back to some children who have been just absolutely handed a massive obstacle, check out Dream Machine. Every dollar counts. Put your money where your mouth is. More importantly, put your money where your heart is.
That's right.
The Gathering by Housing Wire is coming up in Austin this April from the 27th through the 30th. And after missing last year and dealing with that FOMO, I am already registered. I want to make sure that this is an event that y'all have on your radar. I remember my first time attending the Gathering. That year, the event was held in Arizona, and I was blown away. It was the first time I went to an event where the who's who of both mortgage and real estate were attending the same conference. It's been 2 years since I was last at the Gathering, and I'm still working with and collaborating with some of the people I met while attending this once-a-year event. Some of these people have now become friends as well as clients. I hear from you all the time about how you want to step up your game, run in bigger circles, and have the inside track on what is actually happening in the real estate and mortgage industries. Well, this event will allow you to check all of those boxes plus so much more. So go ahead and get registered today. Come hang out with me in Austin. The website to get started is housingwire.com/events and use my code TLOP10 for 10% off. So again, housingwire.com/events and use my code TLOP10. That's TLOP10. And at checkout, you'll get 10% off. I look forward to seeing you at this year's Gathering. All right, so you got started as a, I'm going to say hustler in every good sense.
Yeah.
Okay. But in high school, you were that kid that was finding a way to keep everyone happy, everyone laughing, but also making a buck.
You know it.
Where did that come from?
Well, when I was a kid, man, I was a dreamer, like a real dreamer. I would lay in bed, I would throw my basketball up to the ceiling, and I would just like imagine this world as a superstar athlete. Like I love Michael Jordan, and I knew one day I was going to be in like Nike commercials with Michael Jordan, and I just imagined this world where I was fit, but I was always overweight.
Okay.
And I actually buried my dream. I buried my dream, and I became the water boy for the basketball team.
Okay.
It was at the point where I wasn't athletic enough, and I traded in my basketball shoes for a suit because I had this genius idea. I'm going to be rich. And so...
At how old? 15?
15.
15 years old, you're manifesting.
I'm
Now,
manifesting.
you weren't Charlie Rocket yet.
No.
You were just Charlie.
I was just Charlie, but I became CEO Charlie.
You did become CEO Charlie. Was that manifestation in high school?
You know, I always wanted to just like embody what I wanted to become. They say dress for the job you want.
Yes.
And so I put on a suit and I started going to school.
At 15.
15
you
with
were
a suit
in
and
Atlanta,
a briefcase.
Georgia.
And I was selling Allen Iverson arm sleeves. It was the latest innovation in sports apparel. Allen Iverson had these arm sleeves, but you couldn't buy them anywhere. So I got a seamstress, started making the arm sleeves. I started selling them, but it wasn't long at school before some of the kids at school started bullying me.
I would think so, because kids are pretty ruthless.
Yeah.
You're a teenager wearing a suit to high school, public high school in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there was these 3 girls, and they had a magazine, like a entertainment magazine, and they came over to me, wanting to kind of pick on me a little bit, and they pointed at this rapper. They said, "Charlie, do you know who this is?" I said, "No." They said, "You don't know who that is?" I was like, "No." And then they pointed at this singer. "Do you know who this is?" I was like, "No." And then other kids came over, and they were all just kind of like laughing at me.
Yeah.
And I made up my mind right then and there. I do not like the way this feels, and I do want to be accepted by the cool kids.
Mm-hmm.
I made a decision. I'm going to be in the music business, and I'm not going to let anybody ever make me feel like this again.
You're 15, 16 years old in high school.
Absolutely.
Do you remember who those artists were?
I don't. I didn't know who they were.
Yeah. So
I was a sports fan, so
Yeah.
I didn't know who the rappers and the singers were. And at the time, I'm the water boy for the basketball team. And I remember there was one day I was sitting on the bench at the basketball game, and the left side of my face went paralyzed, and my vision was blurred, and the pain in my head was so god awful. And I'm sitting there on the bench, and I just couldn't take the pain anymore. And I stumbled out of the gym, and it was dark out, and I like stumbled home, and I got underneath the bed, and I put pillows all around the bed to block out just all light, all sound, and I'm just screaming in pain. And my parents, they did not know how to like stop the pain. They didn't know what to do. And so we went to multiple doctors, and they would give me medicine thinking I had migraines.
Okay.
And then it got worse. At school, I would walk up the stairs, and I would get this like paralyzing almost shock for about 5 seconds in my body where I couldn't move. And I went to my grandfather, and I told him I don't think I can go to school anymore. And so he took me to the hospital the next day, and there was this really nice doctor, and she had this instrument, and she looked in my eye, and I'll never forget the words she said. She said, "We need to get you over to the MRI immediately."
Wow. She could see something just by looking through your pupil.
And so the doctor called my family in, and that's when I saw the image for the first time of the MRI. And the doctor said that there was a large mass in my brain on my pituitary gland.
So you were in high school when this happened.
That's right.
I thought this happened during your music career.
It happened again.
It happened again.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to get there.
This is a story I've never told before.
Okay. So you're in high school. You've morphed into Charlie CEO, right? You don't like how you're being treated, don't like how that feels.
Yep.
You make a conscious decision. So many others are going to let that define them.
That's right.
You're like, you did let it define you, but in the opposite direction, because you're the guy that never takes an L, right? 2 L's
That's
together
right.
makes a W. And what was that? Well, the diagnosis, but what was the prognosis? How did you beat it the first time?
Well, when the doctor said that you have a large mass in your brain, I looked over at my mom and she was crying. Tears were rolling down her face. And my grandfather, he came to me and he said something. He said, "Charlie, in dark times, look for the gifts. Santa Claus delivers the gifts when it's dark. So look for the gifts."
Oh, I love that.
And I didn't know what he meant. I'm looking at my mom crying and I'm like, what could be the gift in this? But over the next couple of weeks, I started noticing something. For the first time in my life, my parents weren't fighting. There was peace in our house.
Are you an only child?
No.
Okay.
I have an older sister. And I started to become grateful for my brain tumor because I had never seen my parents really get along like this. And I thought to myself, maybe this is a winning streak. Maybe this brain tumor is a gift. And I made a mantra for myself. I am on a winning streak.
Then
I'm in.
20 years later, you're still on a winning streak.
21 years of my life, I can say to you, I have never had anything bad happen in my life. A brain tumor made me a Nike athlete. Getting fired from being Soulja Boy's cameraman, well, I'm going to be the biggest manager in the world. When something bad happens, you just have to find the gift in it. When my grandfather died, well, that was like me getting an angel.
Yeah.
He guides me every day. And when my grandmother died, it was like the reincarnation of her was sent to me. She was the sweetest lady, and I feel like she sent me the love of my life, my beautiful girlfriend. And I've never lost. Some people, they get stuck in this perpetual loop of negativity when something bad happens, and they stay there for a lifetime. But I just have to find the win in a loss. And let's be very clear, I'm on a winning streak. I had a cup of coffee this morning. I'm on a winning streak. I woke up this morning. I'm on a winning streak. My mom's alive. My dad's alive. I'm on a winning streak. I look at a loss as just a lesson learned. 2 L's equals a W. I can't lose.
I love this. I love this for you. I love it for our audience, right? I love it for the people that you get to impact when you travel the country, raising money for the Dream Machine, but also sharing your story. I also love the fact that you're a big sports fan, so I can say this and you'll understand it. So when I'm looking at the winningest teams in the history, there's basically Charlie.
Yep.
There's the 1990s Bulls,
Yep.
and then there's the 2000s Patriots.
Come on.
Yeah,
That's right.
But you're on top.
You know it.
Right, on the mindset. Can you walk us through, because I'm a huge music fan, right?
Okay.
So like when I was reading your bio, I'm like, Soulja Boy, what? Like I still, the 47-year-old dad at the wedding, I still do the Soulja Boy, right? And I mean, 2 Chainz, I probably know all of his popular music.
Yeah.
Right. And then like Travis Porter, I was like, oh, okay. How did you at 18 start being a videographer for Soulja Boy? Then ultimately you get fired, and it doesn't like crush you.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, when I went back to school after getting sick with the brain tumor, I was out of school for about 6 months. And when I went back to school, those girls, they actually came up to me and apologized. And that was another grateful moment for my brain tumor. I felt like it was protecting me from even people being mean to me. And I was walking in the hallway, and there were these 3 kids, and they had these like club jackets on with this like embroidery on the back, and they were a rap group. And I was like, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And so I went to my mom and I said, I want to put a studio in the bedroom. I need a camcorder. And I started recording all the kids at school. I started making videos, and there was this little website at the time. It's a pretty big website now, but when it came out, I started uploading the videos, and it was called YouTube.
Oh.
It was brand new.
Yeah.
Brand new. And we were one of the first ones uploading videos to that website. And everything's taken off. And the most magical thing happened. I would feature an artist, and then the next day, a record label would call them. And then I would feature another artist, and then a record label would call them. And I'm like, this thing is getting big. But it's time for me to graduate high school, and my mom said the magic words when I walked off the stage.
What's that?
You either go to college or you pay rent.
Okay.
I was like, rent doesn't sound very good for my business plan right now. So I went to school.
Okay.
But I was always such a dreamer.
Yeah.
My head was always in the clouds, and I was failing in my classes. And I was sitting in my classroom, and I was like, I just deserve so much better than this. I know I'm supposed to be successful. And at the time, I wasn't really making money. We were popular, but there's a difference between popularity
Correct.
and making
We
money.
actually talked about that on some previous episodes, where it's like one thing to get the views, it's another thing to get the paycheck.
Come on.
Yeah.
I was getting the views, but there wasn't a paycheck yet.
Were any of your high school artists, your high school friends, were they any of the people that ended up becoming world famous and popular, or did that come later?
There was this one group.
Okay.
There was this one group. They had a song called Crank That Spider-Man.
Oh, no way. Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
it was all my friends. It was my little basketball crew.
Okay.
So there I am in school, writing in my notebook. I needed a miracle. And it was actually the first time in my life I ever experienced one of those like kind of woo-woo law of attraction moments. I'm from the South, so I wasn't educated in all that law of attraction stuff. But I walk out of class and my phone rings, and it was a 310 number. And I had never got a phone call from a LA.
Yeah.
It said Beverly Hills. And I answered the phone, and the guy had the deepest voice I ever heard. He said, "This is Brian Washington from Interscope Records. Is this Charlie?" I said, "Yes, Mr. Washington." And my heart is pounding.
Yeah.
And I'm looking up at the sky. And I'm like, what in the world? I just wrote in my notebook. And he says, "We just signed this artist. His name is Soulja Boy. And he's going to be our top priority at the record label. And he requested you to be his cameraman for his tour."
Were you at the time like just using a normal Canon EOS type camera? Were you using...
No, digital cameras weren't even out yet.
Okay.
No, I was using mini DV cams.
Okay.
So tapes,
Yes.
little mini tapes.
Yeah.
So this is before
Okay.
even the Canon 5D. That was
Okay.
like the first camera that looked good that was digital. So he says he requested you to be his cameraman on his tour. And I told him, I said, "Mr. Washington, I need to go ask my mom if I can drop out of school." He said, "How old are you?"
Yeah.
I said, "I'm 18. He said, "Okay, good.
Yeah.
Go talk to your mom."
Yeah.
So I get in my 1979 Cadillac Coupe de Ville.
Oh, you were
I was
big pimping.
I was
You were big pimping.
I bought it on Craigslist for $2,200.
Yeah. Did it have low pros on it?
You know it had low pros, 20-inch tires and 15-inch subwoofers.
Of course. Just two?
Just
two.
Yeah.
Crushed velvet on the inside?
You know it.
I love
With the
it.
dice hanging?
Yeah.
No.
My dream car, I'm a 47-year-old dad,
Okay.
right? Grew up in suburbia, right?
Okay.
My dream car is a 64 Impala. I want to hit the switches. I want three-wheel motion. I'm going to get that car. Oh, yeah. My wife and I will live at the beach 7 months out of the year. We'll live out in Colorado 5 months out of the year. In my beach house, I will have my hoopty.
Okay.
Yeah,
As we
like
should.
bank it. Like
That's
that is going to happen.
Do you think we're talking too loud? Do you think
No,
we're
you know what?
annoying them?
We're not. I checked yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, for those that didn't maybe catch on the intro, we are
Can
at
you hear me?
We
Okay.
we are at a mortgage conference right now, and they are like main presenters on stage. They put us in this really cool yurt that we get to podcast from. So Charlie was a little bit conscious that, hey, are we being rude? Luckily, the way that they soundproof this thing, no, we were 3 for 3 yesterday. I plan on
Okay.
being 3 for 3 today.
Okay.
So we were back. So Interscope reaches out to you.
Interscope
Soulja Boy wants you because he knows you from YouTube.
Yep.
Now he's also from the South, isn't he?
He's from Batesville, Mississippi.
Okay. Yep. So just about 4 hours, 6 hours up the road from you.
That's right.
I didn't ask you this. I want to ask you real quick. Do you think your first cancer diagnosis was why your mom was so like, okay, yeah, go ahead and build a studio? Or was she like that before?
No,
that?
my mom's always supported my dreams.
Okay, so whatever you want to do,
Yes.
she's like, all right, baby,
And-
go do it.
And my brain tumor wasn't cancerous. It was wrapped around my eye. It was very invasive, but they had a medication that would take care of it.
So no way. So
Yes.
your first tumor was benign.
Benign, yes.
Oh,
very
okay.
invasive, inoperable.
Yeah.
And I got very lucky that the medication worked for 17 years.
Wow. Okay. So from Soulja Boy, you get fired.
I got fired.
How long were you on on with him for?
It was about 6 months before I got fired. I wasn't a very good employee. And that's when I decided I'm going to be a manager. And I went and signed a girl group.
So now you're 19.
I'm 19.
You're 19 and you're like,
Yep.
yeah, I'm going to go from camera guy to manager.
You know it.
Okay.
And so I looked at getting fired as a good thing.
Yeah.
It was a blessing. Lesson, learn, winning streak.
Yeah.
And I signed a girl group, got them a record deal with Interscope Records.
You leveraged the relationship that you built.
You know
okay.
it. You know
so whatever
it.
you got fired for, you didn't piss them off.
Interscope loved me.
Okay.
Okay, Soulja Boy didn't like me too much.
Yeah.
And then they fired me.
The girl group did.
They fired me. And I'm right back in my mom's basement. And I told her this is going to be a win because they weren't enjoyable to work with. I took this rejection as redirection and protection because when I'm successful, I need it to be peaceful and
Yep.
fun. I
Yep.
do not need it to be a headache. So I looked at the universe was protecting me. So I signed a guy group named Travis Porter.
Oh, Travis Porter was before 2 Chainz.
You know it.
Ah, okay. All right.
Yeah, so I actually was passing out CDs every night.
You're like, bring it back.
You know,
Bring it back.
Exactly. You know it. So I'm passing out CDs every night. And one day I decide to get in my car and drive to the radio station in Jackson, Mississippi. And I decided I was going to drive from every radio station from Jackson, Mississippi to Washington, D.C. And I'm in my car.
Which, by the way, is how this industry worked 3 decades ago. Probably not how it worked then, but it wasn't going to slow you down.
No, people just email at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm driving to Jackson, Mississippi, and my phone rings. And it's my business partner. He says, Charlie, where are you? I said, I'm going to the radio station. He said, do you know the radio station? I said, no. But I'm going to meet them, and they're going to play our music. He said, I don't think that's how it works, but
okay,
give it a try.
Yeah.
And so I pull up to the radio station in Jackson, Mississippi, and it's like
Did you pull up with the ceiling missing?
No, I didn't. That's good. That's good. I did not have the convertible like 2 Chainz, but that's good. But I was different, okay?
Okay.
So let's be very
different.
clear.
Yeah, I'm different. We can do this all day. It's just this is probably worse than dad jokes.
No, this is embarrassing. But I'm here for it.
Okay.
Okay. So I pull up, and the radio station is like a double wide trailer on the side of a 2-lane highway. And I walk up to the door, and I knock. Nobody answers. And I knock again. Nobody answers. So I see a window, and so I walk through the dirt over to the window, and I look in, and there's this big guy with a cigar and a mahogany desk. And I wave at him. And he looked at me very confused, and I'm standing in the dirt looking, and I'm waving, and I'm pointing at the door. I was open it up. And so he opens up the door.
He's who's this beaver cleaver looking ass?
A little white kid.
Knocking on my
window.
On my window, yeah.
And he opens the door, and I said, my name is Charlie. I manage a group called Travis Porter, and I would like for you to play our songs. He said, kid, that's not how it works. I said, what do you mean? You're a radio station. You play songs that people like. And I have a group that has a song that people like. Look at this video. It was a video of all these kids in the skating rink singing our song word for word.
Okay.
And I'm like,
this is DeKalb County, Georgia, or where was the
100% DeKalb County,
okay.
Georgia.
All right.
Golden Glide skating rink, to be specific.
Where's that? Off of Shamley Tucker? Where was it in DeKalb?
That's going to be off of Memorial Drive.
Okay.
Yeah, over on the east side. Yeah. So, you know Atlanta well.
I do. Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
All right. So he said, do you have a record deal? I said, no, sir. He said, do you have a marketing budget? I said, no, sir. I said, but I'm going to drive to every radio station from here to Washington, D.C., and everybody's going to start playing our music. He said, kid, I need you to be a little bit more realistic. Call me when you have a record deal. So I was a little let down.
Yeah.
And I start passing out CDs every single night. And our song started becoming more popular. so popular in the clubs that people started calling radio stations, requesting our songs, and the DJs in the middle of the night started playing our music.
This is so old school. Like, this is so how the game was played
back in
the
day.
70s, maybe even early 80s.
Yeah. So I get in my car because I want to go meet those DJs that are playing our music in the middle of the night. And so I'm in the radio station in Jackson, Mississippi a few months later. And the program director, the big guy with the cigar, he walks out of his office and he sees me and he walks up to me and he says, "Charlie, I want to apologize." I said, "For what?" He said, "Everything you told me you were going to do, you did.
Yeah.
Your song is the most requested song at our radio station, and it's outperforming the biggest artist in the world."
Was that A Ladies? What song was it?
No, this was actually at the time All the Way Turned Up.
Okay.
And then Go Shorty Go, and then Make It Rain, then Bring It Back, and then A Ladies. We had 4 songs back to back to back without a record label, without a marketing budget. And we had one of the biggest groups in the country, and that's when I signed 2 Chainz.
Loan officers, if 2026 is going to be your breakout year, this matters. Most originators don't struggle because of rates. They struggle because they don't have systems, structure, or accountability. I'm Coach Christy with T-Lab's Originator Coaching. Originator Launch is a 16-week small group coaching program designed to help you build a real business, not just close the next loan. You'll get weekly live coaching, proven scripts used by top producers, real accountability, homework that actually moves the needle, and 2 private one-on-one calls with your coach. This program is capped at just 10 originators, so the attention is personal and the results are real. This isn't a course you watch. It's coaching you execute. If you're ready to stop guessing and start building with intention, apply now. Spots are limited, and once they're gone, enrollment closes. Register today.
So Interlink slept on Travis Porter after the girl band, the girl group probably.
I actually didn't want to
out?
get a record deal.
You didn't.
I wanted to keep it
You wanted
independent.
to go all indie.
100%.
Okay.
Yep. And then we signed 2 Chainz.
Okay.
And
Did you sign 2 Chainz because of the success of Travis Porter?
You know what? I was ready to grow.
And then did someone within Travis Porter know of 2 Chainz? Because
Everybody knew
he's
Titty
actually
Boy.
my age. Yeah, Titty Boy, yeah.
So Titty Boy was like an Atlanta legend.
Okay.
When I was in high school, I was listening to Titty Boy on Ludacris's albums.
Yes.
When I was on Soulja Boy's tour across America, we were in a minivan at the time, and I'm watching a music video of Titty Boy and Lil Wayne, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, this guy is such a star. Like, he's so cool.
Yeah, because he was featured on Lil Wayne. Also Big Bank. Was that BG? Who did Big Bank? Big Bank take Little Bank.
Big Bank take Little Bank. You're looking at a shark in a fish tank.
Yeah.
That's 2 Chainz
Yeah,
song. Yeah, I love them strippers.
Yeah. How cool. How long were you in the mortgage? Wow.
I was
at a
in
mortgage
the mortgage
conference.
industry
Starting
for 0 days. I didn't survive.
How long were you in the music industry?
I was in the mortgage industry for 10 years.
For 10 years.
For 10 years to the day. Now, I got fired. Now, do you believe in destiny?
Yes, I actually do. I'm a huge believer that everything happens for a reason. The universe speaks to us, and
it's always perfect, right? Yeah. I got fired on October 4th, 2007 in Atlanta, Georgia, the last day of Soulja Boy's promo tour. October 4th, 2007, the day I decided I'm going to be a manager. I retired from being 2 Chainz' manager and everybody's manager. Young Dolph, Travis Porter, Bankroll Fresh, everybody. I retired.
Young Dolph, too. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
October 4th, 2017 in Atlanta, Georgia, at the last day of 2 Chainz' Pretty Girls Like Trap Music tour. I retired 10 years to the day in the same city, the same scenario, the last day of tour, start to finish, and 10 is the number of perfection.
What was the catalyst of you retiring from music?
I got sick with a brain tumor again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this time it was not benign.
No, this time the medication was not working anymore. My
okay.
body formed It wasn't responding to the
Like
medication.
you almost like your body formed its own immunity against the medication. Okay.
And the doctors kept upping the dosage, and it wasn't shrinking the brain tumor. And the higher dosage started making a heart valve problem. And so I felt very trapped. I have a brain tumor. Medication's not working. Medication's affecting my heart valves. And that's when I decided, well, this is the thing. When you think about death, you do not think about the things you accomplished. You think about that dream that you buried. When I was a kid, throwing the ball up to the ceiling, imagining being this athlete who is going to be in commercials with Michael Jordan.
You were going to be like Mike.
I was going to be like Mike.
Yeah.
And I buried that dream to do something realistic, like make money.
Yeah.
And here I am, 300 pounds with a brain tumor. And so I went to my business partners, I went to my artists, and I gave them all my shares. And I started running. At first, I could only run a couple minutes.
You gave them all your shares?
Gave them all my shares.
Didn't want to sell it? Didn't want to try to hold on to it for a residual, anything in perpetuity? None of that?
None of it.
Okay. You're the second person I've met in 2 days that did something similar. There's something there, right?
You know who else did it?
Who?
Dr. Dre.
When he walked away from NWA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want anything.
Yeah.
He just wanted a new life.
Yeah. He wanted out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did too. And so I started running. I ran for a couple minutes. Then I can run a couple miles. And I always had this dream, like Nike's going to see my story and Nike's going to sign me. And I ended up doing a marathon. I did a couple marathons, but Nike never called.
Yeah.
And I'm delusional.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you're not recognizing you're one of 3 million people in the United States who are going to run a marathon.
Yeah.
Right? Some are 14 and they weigh 47 pounds. Some are 47 and they weigh 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that is really, you and I share this this commonality, right? Like, you're an endurance athlete, I'm an endurance athlete. But even my wife recognized at the grit that people have that don't look like endurance athletes. But I promise you go to Boston, you go to New York, you go to Chicago marathons, you go to any Ironman competition.
Yeah.
There will be men and women that are doing extraordinary things, and they don't look the part.
No.
But mentally,
Yeah.
they're like you, Charlie. They're like, no, I'm a winner. Like, I am the part.
Exactly.
So in your mind, you're going to get discovered by Nike,
You know it.
and you're going to be featured as an athlete.
Only in my mind.
Oh.
And so I made a fan-made Nike commercial. Nike saw it. I became a Nike athlete, and I helped Nike create what became the biggest Nike commercial of all time. My dream came true.
Wait, congratulations on that. That's freaking badass, right? So your fan made was your journey to becoming an Ironman,
That's
correct?
right. Yes.
Did you get the tattoo?
I
The
did
Ironman
not get
tattoo?
the tattoo. No.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to. Like,
My
I think
friend got it,
did he?
and it's big
Yeah.
on his calf.
Yeah, if I get mine, I already have 5 tattoos that go down my spine. At one point, I thought I was going to have like all these kids.
Uh-huh.
So if I had all these kids and I put every zodiac sign down my spine, it would have made like a totem pole,
Which
right?
Ironman did you do?
Well, I've done 4 70.3s.
Okay.
Right, so I've done Wilmington 70.3 twice, Augusta once, and I just did Haines City, which is the Florida 70.3 back in December.
Uh-huh.
And I spent 4 days in the hospital in July with a freaking heart issue.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get my heart better, but I'm signed up to do Portugal, which would be my first full. That'll be October of this year.
That's a beautiful race. And it's a little bit easier.
No, the
No,
opposite. I've
it's
heard.
the hard one?
I've heard it's a little bit on the hard side.
Really?
It's just hilly.
Hilly.
It's just hilly.
Are you strong on the bike?
People always ask me this. I'm sure they ask you the same thing. Like, oh, what do you like better, or which one are you better at? I like none of them. I'm better at none of them, but I love completing and competing in all 3.
Yeah.
So no, I'm going to buy a tri-bike.
Okay.
I've been on my specialized road bike for the past 5 years,
Yeah.
which for a 70.3 is fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do a full not being able to be an arrow,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think my bike will be strong enough, but I think I'm probably better at running. Like,
Okay. Cool.
But, anyhow, the show's not about me, Charlie. It's about you, right?
I'm
it's about you.
interested, though.
Yeah, but so you trained for this Ironman, which you completed.
Absolutely.
Right, 16 hours. You did it in New Zealand.
That's right.
Right, but you documented
Yeah.
your journey.
Yeah.
And that's what Nike
They
loved.
loved it.
But they loved it so much that when they got to know you, they brought you in and they let you collaborate on an entire like marketing campaign, right?
Well, when they brought me in, they said, you inspired us to change the direction of our company.
Wow.
But I'm not a part of Nike, so they actually left me on a cliffhanger. And so they said, just keep doing what you're doing. And I'm thinking my dream's about to come true, but I'm in a meeting with them, and they said, you inspired us to change our company, but we can't tell you what it is. And so what do? I start biking across America. I left from Santa Monica, California. Nike didn't call me when I got to Texas. I got to Atlanta. Nike didn't call me yet. I get to North Carolina, and I actually get a knock on my door at the hotel. I'm at a hotel in Duke University.
Yeah. How many miles were you doing per day?
You know, every day was different. I started off doing 80. Then I dipped down to about 60.
Yeah.
And then once you got on the East Coast, it's just hills after hills. And then I was like, some days I'll do 50.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But you at least started on the West Coast and moved east. That's smart.
Yeah.
Because anyone who knows anything about cycling, you probably had the wind to your back.
Yeah,
Instead of having the wind in your face.
Exactly.
Yeah, and is cycling your strength?
I don't think I have strength.
You're like me.
I'm slow.
Yeah. Yeah, you complete. So how long did it take you to
3 months.
3 months.
But we were helping people everywhere we went. So we took our
this
time.
was your first altruistic journey, right? You're doing this to bring awareness, raise money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had you done well in the music business to where
Financially?
to where
Absolutely.
So when you retired, you had saved, you had invested. So you're like, look, I'm not ready to not work, but I'm good.
I honestly did not know if I would ever make money again.
And didn't care.
I was chasing my dream.
Yeah.
I felt like I deserved to at least know what my dream was like.
Okay.
And it all worked out.
Yeah.
It all worked out.
So then let's talk about this. How did you get connected with Oprah? How did you get on the Dr. Phil show? Right? Or do you still partner with Nike?
Yeah.
You still partner with Nike?
Yeah.
Do they pay you to partner, or is it
No.
they don't?
So it's like, I am the biggest advocate of Nike you will ever meet.
I'm sponsored by Nike.
Really?
They don't know it yet.
Okay.
But my kids know it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Kids know it.
I won't walk out of the house. Like I will never wear Nike with Adidas.
Checks over stripes.
Yep, always. But it doesn't like. I have a hard time wearing Nike socks with Hoka shoes. Right, so I run in Nike running shoes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We
they don't know it yet. But
We don't perpetrate.
okay, yeah,
Okay. 100% checks over stripes. Let's make that clear.
yeah.
So I'm actually waiting for Nike to call me. And I get done with my bike ride across America, and I start training for a marathon, and I'm running around the track, and the phone rings, and it's Nike. And they said to me, Charlie, are you sitting down? I was running around the track. I said, I can be.
Yeah.
So I sit down. They send me an email, and what I looked at was what became the biggest Nike commercial of all time. It was so big that the stock price went up $8 billion in the first week of the commercial coming out. Sales skyrocketed. It was the Colin Kaepernick commercial in 2018, and that commercial featured LeBron James, Serena Williams, and a crazy dreamer called Charlie Rocket.
No way.
And my dream had come true, and I was on the cover of Runner's World magazine, and I thought back to like that kid. I just dreamed of all of this.
Yeah.
And it's proof that dreams are real, but sometimes if if you're trying to go in the place and the front door is locked, sometimes you got to go to the back door, and if it's locked, you got to find a ladder and go through the window, because there's always a window.
I have video of me over the years. So I travel the country and I speak, like usually to mortgage conferences, right? Like I'm a guy who ran a mortgage company, built it from nothing, built it up to something pretty substantial with 2 business partners, retired from that recently. And because of the podcast, I get to travel. I have me on stage.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I get passionate and I just speak freely.
Yeah.
So I would tell people, here's what I learned in my life, because I came from a great background. My mom drove a school bus. My dad's an electrician. Like there's certain things that I just didn't have afforded to me growing up in the neighborhood that I did. So a lot of that meant, well, if the door doesn't open for you, you just wiggle that handle.
Wiggle.
Right? And if it doesn't open then, right, then maybe you knock.
Yeah.
And then if no one comes to the door, you know what you do? you kick that fucker down.
Come on.
Like there's
Kick
something
that
back there
fucker
there's
down.
something back there that you want, you go get it.
Yeah.
As long as you're being a good human.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do anything that's going to kill someone else or get you arrested
Don't
or for
hurt
me, get me
anybody.
divorced. Like that's how I live my life. Am I being a good human?
Yep.
Will this get me hurt? Will this
Yep.
hurt someone else? Or will this get me divorced? If the
Yeah.
answer is no to the last three and yes to the good human, I do it. But when it comes to opportunity, yeah, you sometimes have to kick that door down, or what you say, you go check a window.
Hey, there's always a window that's unlocked.
and crawl through
Always.
that
I might
window.
not be like karate master,
Yeah.
but I can go through a window.
Yeah.
If you're a licensed originator who's closing loans, but you're not consistent, this is for you. If you're brand new or just looking for motivation, trust me, this is not for you. Most LOs don't need more information. They need structure. They need proven processes and somebody to hold them accountable. T-Lob's Originator Coaching gives you weekly live coaching, scripts top producers actually use, and step-by-step business systems you can implement immediately. Not someday, we're talking day one. You're not watching videos alone. You're executing in real time with other originators who take this seriously. Right now, you can try it free for 2 weeks. That's 2 full weeks for free. You'll sit in on live coaching calls. You'll get access to the frameworks and see exactly how top producers run their business. If it creates clarity, if it creates momentum, or even if it puts wins on the board, you keep going. If it doesn't, no worries, you can cancel. No pressure at all. Click the link, start the 2-week trial, and finally, build this like a business, not a side hustle.
So you get the call from Nike. They
Yeah.
make you sit down. Now all of a sudden, Charlie Rocket is
Yeah.
alongside of Serena Williams,
Yeah.
LeBron James,
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yep.
Right? Was this something that they debuted in Super Bowl? Does memory tell me the Super Bowl?
It was their biggest Super Bowl commercial they've ever had.
Okay.
But it actually debuted in September.
Okay.
And the commercial was so big that they replayed it during the Super Bowl. It was
Okay.
that impactful.
And then was that what then got what I would call national notoriety?
Mm.
Because you had notoriety inside of the hip hop scene,
Mm-hmm.
right? Inside of like the R&B radio stations and the hottest, freshest clubs.
Yeah.
But was it that all of a sudden Dr. Phil wants to know who's this Charlie Rocket guy?
You know, it actually was when I started my foundation where the national notoriety came, because we started using social media to fundraise for the kids. Because if I can make a video and my dream came true, what if I made a video about these kids who have dreams? Can those videos make their dreams come true? And we got really good at making these videos, and these videos would get 10s and 20 and 30 million views. And it became a movement. I sold my house. I moved into my bus, the Dream Machine, and I started going around the country in my bus helping kids. And the internet fell in love with it. And Oprah, for example, she wanted to make a donation to somebody we were helping live on TV. And then Dr. Phil wanted to feature one of our dreamers. And then we grew to 9 million followers on social media.
And all you were doing is you, Charlie Rocket, are in your bus.
Mm-hmm.
You're traveling the country. You're doing good.
With my team. With
your
the dream team.
With the dream team.
Yes.
But you're documenting it.
Yes.
Like you're a videographer, right? You're a
Yes.
self-taught videographer. You've been doing it now for well over a decade.
That's right.
Doing it so well that Soulja Boy first found it and fell in love with it, and then later Nike.
Yes.
Right, so I'm sure your ability to feature and document
Yes.
really shined a spotlight on the Dream Machine.
And I was really good, not just at the filming and documenting, but I'm really good at this ability of hearing somebody's dream and believing that I can pull it off. It's what made me a really good manager, because the through line through all of this is that I'm kind of delusional.
Yes.
I don't really think.
No, you're batshit crazy. That's not delusion. You're batshit crazy in every good way.
And it's only delusional until it's real, and it's only crazy until you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm driving to a radio station for my artists, it's because I believe those radio stations will play the song. I actually believe everything is going to be easy, where culturally we are trained to believe this is going to be hard. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to grind. Well, all that sounds terrible. If I knew it was hard, I might not ever show up. Like, why would I show up to something hard? I might get paralyzed.
Yeah.
But instead of getting paralyzed, I only see the possibilities. And that's what puts me into action. And it's my action that gets me to be the luckiest man alive, because lightning just keeps striking me over and over.
Yeah. How long have you had Dream Machine for?
It started in 2018.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're going on 8 years then.
Yeah.
8 years this year.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many dreamers you've been
It's
able to
around
impact?
1,500.
1,500.
Yeah.
How many millions of dollars have you raised?
Shoot. I don't know.
Yeah. Millions.
More
though.
than a little bit. Yeah.
Millions in order to help those 1,500. What is a typical dreamer like? What's their backdrop, and what are you all able to provide for them and their families?
So every dream is different.
Okay.
And that's the beautiful thing about dreams. You might have one kid whose dream it is to go to Hawaii. Actually, I'll tell you a story. So I have somebody very special with me right here. This is Mama Murphy. She's actually the mother of one of the kids that we sent to Hawaii. But I'm on the internet and I saw this video of these two little girls on FaceTime with each other, and they were saying how they missed each other so much. Come to find out, they became best friends in the hospital because they both were battling cancer.
Okay.
One of the girls left the hospital, went home, and they haven't seen each other in 6 or 9 months. So they miss each other, and this was the first time they were seeing each other. And so I reach out to one of the girls, and I asked her, what's her dream? She said, I want to go to Hawaii. I reached out to the other little girl, and she said, I want to go to Hawaii. So I surprised both of them with trips, but they don't know that they're going to Hawaii together.
Oh,
So
how
we
cool.
put them on the airplane. One of the little Ruby is walking down the aisle, and she gets to her seat, and the other little girl, Charlie, is there, and they reunite, and they find out they're going to Hawaii together.
That's so cool.
And it's like, that's the stuff we live for.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's next? What's next for Charlie Rocket? What's next for Dream Machine?
More dreams. I'm going to write what I believe is the best book written of our decade.
Do you have the title?
You know it.
You ready to share it?
The Winning Streak Effect.
Okay.
I'm going to sell 10 million copies. It's a big dream of mine.
Yeah.
I want to write the most impactful book of our generation. And it's going to be easy. So that's a big one. And just keep making dreams come true. I've lost 4 pounds this week, which is great.
Congrats.
And I'm only 25 pounds away from my goal. So I'm on a winning streak, man.
You gonna come do Portugal with me?
Man, don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
We're like, now look at you, now look at us, right? Oh.
All my friends can run really far.
Charlie, I so appreciate this. Here, I'm gonna put this out there for you and everyone else. Like, here's my dream, and I've been hiding behind it. Like, I say it,
Okay.
but I say it kind of in jest. I say it as a way to describe the podcast to people.
Yeah.
But no, what is my dream?
Dream.
My dream is I want to be Joe Rogan and Dave Ramsey, have a baby. Like, when I say that, that's how I describe
That's
me.
good.
And you've gotten to know me the past 2 days. You can probably be like, oh, yeah, I can see a little Rogan there.
Yeah.
I can see a little Dave Ramsey
Yep.
there. But I'm D.O. Like,
D.O.
well, when I was younger, I was the motherfucking D.O.
Motherfucking deal.
But Dustin Owen is my legal name, but my friends call me by my initials,
Mm-hmm.
D.O. But it's like, I'm looking at the people who inspired me when I was in my 20s. Like, you're an Atlanta guy. I once reached out to Clark Howard to try to get an internship because I loved what he stood for.
WSB
As
radio.
nerdy as he is, I loved how he advocated for the consumer, and he taught the shit they don't teach in school.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't have the Charlie hustle. I wasn't CEO Charlie, even Charlie Rocket. So I sent one email and I gave up. Right? I've always dreamed of being a talk radio show host. I wanted to be a sports announcer. Like, I am annoying to watch football with because I announce the whole game. Right? I'm either beloved by someone because, like, oh, I like this. This guy's telling me what's
Are
going
you throwing
on.
in little ad libs as well? You got your special little.
My goal is to beat the color commentator to the same exact like narration. Yeah. And my wife kind of digs it. She kind of gasses me up because she's like, "You did it again." I'm like, "Yeah, I got my words out quicker than Troy, like Troy Aikman or Tony Romo did, right?" But no, but like, I look at everything Dave Ramsey has done for the country, but
Yeah.
also the business he built. Like I always joke, I loathe Dave Ramsey. I don't know him personally, he doesn't know me personally, but like I like what he stands for. But if you really want to learn Dave Ramsey, just go read the book Richest Man in Babylon. And I'm a huge Rogan fan. Like I like how raw and real and unapologetically himself he is. So yeah, what is my real dream? Yeah, my real dream is that I have that much influence, that big of a following, that big of a show.
That's good.
And although the mortgage industry loves what I do, and I'm their most popular guy, no, I want to be everyone's most popular guy. That if you're trying to learn the shit they don't teach
Who's
in
your
school.
dream guest?
Ooh, my dream guest?
Yeah, dream.
Well, I haven't thought big enough yet. Right now, it's guys like James Clear.
Okay.
Right? Wrote the book Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
When I coach loan officers, we buy that book for them, and it's part of their coaching program.
Yeah.
So he's up there because I like books. Chris Voss, I talk a lot about his book, Never Split the Difference. But if I went beyond that, Matthew McConaughey.
Ah, that's a good one.
Right? So
Yeah.
so I put Matthew McConaughey up there. In a weird way, 'cause I know you're a basketball guy. Karl Malone.
Carl, the postman.
Karl Malone, because of his trucking business.
Come on.
I want to learn about everything he's accomplished post-retirement.
Come on.
Yeah,
Post.
post. Yeah.
I see you.
And also, he's one of the best basketball players to ever play that didn't win a championship. He, Charles Barkley, and probably a couple others, right?
Yeah. Did Allen Iverson win a championship? Allen Iverson didn't win one. Did
I don't think he did.
Damn.
No, you know what? When they get like in their late 30s, early 40s, and they start bouncing around, you never know.
Yeah,
I lose track on
Yeah.
that. But yeah, those would be some of my best guests. Some of my top guests coming at it.
What if it's going to be easy?
What if it's going to be easy?
Yeah.
Yeah, then we run 100 miles an hour head first.
I think it's going to be easy for you, bro. You're the most entertaining guy in all of finance. It's going to be easy. Everybody can't wait to come laugh with you, man.
Yeah. Hey.
It's easy.
Your words to God's ears
That's
and my
what
heart.
I'm talking about.
Right?
That's right.
I love this. Charlie, again, let's if the audience wants to learn more about you, follow your journey, be a part of the Dream Machine. What are some of your handles? What's the best way to connect with you?
I'm just on the internet. That's it. Like I've been on the
Google.
internet since I was like 11.
The Indiana head coach. Google me. I
Google
win.
me.
Google me. I win. Charlie Rocket, right? Yeah, Google him. Charlie Rocket. Check out the Dream Machine. Look, every dollar counts. If you love this interview, but more importantly, you love this show, let's show Charlie some love. Let's show these dreamers some love. Let's go make some dreams happen. Right? If you're only tuning in because you're a big fan of Charlie and this, you're like, what's this TLOP thing? What does it even stand for, by the way? TLOP stands for The Loan Officer Podcast. TLOP's the brand, right? Because we're bigger than just a podcast. We're a brand.
Yeah.
And early on, our first fans started calling us by our initials, and I loved it. So I went with it. But we're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure you click subscribe. If you're on Spotify or Apple, make sure you give us a 5-star review so more people can find content like this. I'm Dustin Owen. He's Charlie Rocket. Charlie, I want to clarify one thing. Was the second brain tumor cancerous or was it benign as well?
Benign as well.
It was benign.
Yeah.
So I will have to correct myself because I think I may have introduced you as a cancer survivor.
That's all right.
But you're a 2-time brain tumor survivor.
Yeah.
Equally dangerous and scary as shit.
Yeah.
Cool. He's Charlie. I'm Dustin Owen. You've just tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast. That's all the time we have for you today, but we do look forward to catching you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Peace.